France up against the All Blacks this weekend, folks. First of their 3-match test series. The squads have been named. There are a number of debutants to feature in both sides. More for the French than for the All Blacks. All the expectation is on the All Blacks for this one. It's a little bit kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if the All Blacks go out and put a big old scoreline on the French, it'll just be the talk about how it was a French B team anyway. And if it's a close game, all the talk will be about how the All Blacks struggled against the French B team. So, yeah, the squads have been named. As I said, we'll go through the players who have been picked, who's out, who's in, what are the kind of some expectations, some stats, predictions, recent history, all that jazz. You guys can let us know your thoughts. But yeah, Razor's had a few new picks. I'm pretty chuffed for Christian Leo Willie. He's the guy selected at number 8 for the All Blacks for this one. Crusaders number 8. He's been an absolute machine for the Crusaders this year. Initially named as kind of cover for Luke Jacobson in the All Blacks initial squad. He's kind of bumped up the pecking order with the withdrawal of Wallace Satiti into a regular starting role at number 8. So that's a meteoric rise since the All Blacks squad was named and injuries happened and whatnot. But he deserves it because he's, as I said, for a winning Crusader side, he was like their top ball carrier, their top tackler, just absolute busy around the park, proper workhorse player. So he will relish the chance to put on the black jersey for the first time. And then also Fabian Holland is going to get his debut for the All Blacks. The All Blacks get accused more of poaching talent from the Pacific than from Europe. But this guy is a genuine bit of tall Dutch timber. Came over to New Zealand as a teenager from the Netherlands to pursue a rugby career. And this is the kind of culmination of all that hard work and his dream coming true, I would imagine. He's genuinely really tall. That's something New Zealand hasn't had for a wee while as a proper, since Whitelock and Retallick retired from All Blacks duties, we haven't had a proper 2-metre bit of tall timber. So Holland is that, and he's a real workhorse around the park as well. Always one of the top tacklers for the Highlanders. So we'll see how he goes on his debut. It's a big congratulations for him. And then on the bench, Ollie Norris and Duplessis Karifi are a couple of other debutants as well. We've been a little bit light on the depth in terms of the loose forward selections because they didn't pick many loosies for this All Black squad. And then Luke Jacobson, who's one of the guys picked, not yet right after picking up a knock in the Super Rugby final. And then Wallace Satitu, who was one of the guys picked, is also, now out injured. So that's potentially seen a little bit of a reshuffle in the backline. Maybe they were going to do it anyway, but Super Vite is there at 6. Razor did talk about test match rugby being about size, so they've bulked up the back row, playing a guy who usually plays lock. He can play loose forward, but he's playing at number 6, so a bit of extra bulk in the back row for the ABs, and he's certainly a cracking line-out option to have. He's probably the best All Blacks line-out disruptor, so a defensive line-out time. He's at number 6. Artie gets the call that a lot of the fans have wanted for a long time, even though he won World Player of the Year at 8. He's playing back at 7, where he has been playing for Moana Pacifica for most of the year. And then the front row is De Groot, Taylor, and Newell. So Newell's been cracking form at tight head for the Crusaders all season. It's a pretty inexperienced French propping quartet, so he'll be looking to turn the screws, especially on a couple of uncapped loose head props from France. We'll see if he's able to get that kind of advantage he's been getting for the Crusaders all season. And they are without the likes of Lomax and Tamaiti Williams, who are both injured. Like Lomax's one doesn't seem quite as bad as Williams' one, but yeah, it's also a chance for De Groot, who had seemingly fallen down the pecking order a little bit for the ABs. Backs-wise, the combo of Roygaard and Barrett. Barrett gets the nod ahead of D-Mac. I think they're going to switch that up throughout the year, but it is Barrett who gets the initial call. It is still not one that is set in stone just yet. And then interesting calls with Geordie Barrett straight back from Europe into the number 12 jersey. I don't think there was any real question about that. I think he was always going to do that, but then he's going to partner Billy Proctor, who a lot of All Blacks fans are really excited about, to get him genuinely a chance at Test match rugby. He has played for the ABs. Remember, he got skinned by Dylan Riley when he played Japan. So still defensively is going to be the big question, but in attack, undoubtedly, the guy is very, very skilled at setting up the guys around him. Just his ball carries, like defenders beating numbers and whatnot. His attacking stats are genuinely very good in the midfield. And then Rico moves to the left wing. So it's a spot we haven't seen him start in for a while. Razor obviously shifted him in games last season to the left wing at times, but he's going to get a start. And again, it's almost like some bold picks, and some of these are the ones the fans have been calling for ages. Proctor at 13, Rico on the left wing, Artie at 7. Yeah, interesting calls from Razor. Will Jordan's been smashing it all season for the Crusaders at fullback. He's named, and the Sever Reese is on the right wing as well. Bench-wise, Tokiaho, Norris, and Tossi. Tossi's that big old unit, tight head prop. He'll be looking to leave off, or pick up where Fletcher Newell leaves off once he comes on. Finau is the kind of lock replacement, I suppose, although Va'i will likely switch in to the second row when Finau comes on. Karefi is going to get his debut. Interesting call to have him on the bench. I guess they don't want to play too many debutants at the same time. Whether the back row shuffles around when Karefi comes on, he's certainly a big old tackle machine, but it's an interesting one to have him on the bench. But they're a little bit shorter back rowers, like I mentioned, in terms of how many they picked in the squad. They picked a ton of midfielders, fewer back rowers. Ratsima, great to see Tupaia back after that long injury layoff from him, and then DMAC is the 23 jumper for him. For the French, like I mentioned, there's a bunch of debutants, 8 of them in the side. It is a B team, and I say that respectfully, factually, because if the first choice guys are your A guys and they are not available, and these are your second choice guys, or in some cases third or fourth choice guys, it's a factual B team. It doesn't mean it's a bad team. It just means the first choice guys are not available. They are going to wear the French jersey the same as the A team guys do. It is a test match. It counts for world rankings points and all that jazz. But ultimately the selection is not the A-team guys because of the length of the top 14 season. Those guys are just purely not available. It's the same as when they toured Australia, Japan, Argentina in recent years. It's just the way it goes with the way the top 14 is structured. It's not disrespectful or anything to New Zealand. That's just the way it is. But we'll see how they go, man. Like the front row of Beria, Barlow, and Slimani. Slimani's the veteran amongst 3 other uncapped props. But Beria has played against Uruguay last year in an uncapped match. So it's not his first time playing for France. And then Barlow is kind of there or thereabouts in terms of... They got Malvaca and Marchand, who are their main guys, the 2 Toulouse guys at hooker for France. So Barlow and then Bougarit are on the fringes of the French squad anyway. But yeah, the props is really going to be a big old test for France in this one. Ardo and Dugood are the second rowers, the Canadian in their second row. So they got a Canadian, we got a Dutchman. Who would have thought that when you're seeing New Zealand playing against France? But then Ardo is another one of those guys. He has been on the fringes of that kind of starting role, bench role as well. So he is certainly one to watch. And then the back row of Fischer, Tisserand, and Guillard. If you're going to watch one guy, it has to be Guillard. He was in scintillating form for France in the Six Nations. They have shifted him to number 8. So they're kind of doing a similar thing, what the All Blacks are doing with Va'i. Fabien Gaultier did mention that behind Aldrit, they're a little bit lacking at number 8. So they're seeing what kind of potential Guillard has to shift from lock to number 8. But his numbers in the Six Nations were phenomenal. He probably should have got breakthrough player of that tournament, in my opinion. And even when they played England's 15 just before coming down to New Zealand, the French 15 in a kind of uncapped match, he played at number 8 for that one. He was their top tackler. He was like their top ball carrier. He was their top line-out man. Like the dude's pretty incredible. So absolutely one to watch. And then Ligarac and Segons at 9 and 10. Segons another one who's first cap for him at 10. But did go on the tour of Uruguay as well, so has played in the French jersey before. His kicking game will certainly look to push the All Blacks back territorially, and Ligarac is an absolute excitement machine player to watch. The French have got loads of good 9s. Ligarac has been down the pecking order a little bit with Luku and Dupont there, but if he plays for most other countries, Ligarac has probably already got dozens of caps, even though he's still a very young man. Fiku and Gaetan is actually looking like a pretty experienced midfield. So if the likes of Proctor or Barrett are off the pace, they will be exposed. And then Villiers, the wee pocket rocker on the left wing, has only been supplanted by the fact that Biel has been in incredible form for France. Villiers is still a good player. Tom Springs on his debut on the right wing. And then Ati Sogbe is at fullback for this one. I've usually seen him play on the right wing for France, but he did play at fullback for his club recently, and he's played at fullback against the English 15 just a couple of weeks ago as well, and he was probably the most dangerous guy in the French game there in terms of his run meters and defenders beaten and all that kind of stuff. Bench-wise, Bougaret, Marais, and Montagna, so a couple of uncapped props. Will be interesting at scrum time to see how they go. You feel like if the All Blacks can turn the screws, things may go well. Tofu Whanua is an absolute big old unit to bring off the bench. Big tight headlock and certainly experienced. Likewise, Cameron Wilkie, proper skills lock to bring off the bench. They got some size there, plus Van Tonda, who will be on debut, another big unit. So the French have bought some bulk on the bench, and then Jeannot and Astoy, a couple of exciting guys to round out that French bench. It is a 6-2 split for them. How are we looking for these teams to play? I am curious to see if the All Blacks will maul more, because they've put in Vai'i on the bench for a bit of extra bulk. They've, in 2024, not been a big mauling team. But if you're going to play big guys, I feel like you might as well go to that bit of extra weapon. France have certainly been doing it more this year in the Six Nations than they did last year. They've been bringing that bulk into the game. France's offloading game has been very evident in their matches in the Six Nations. Their penalty count has also been pretty low, like their discipline's been pretty good, but I'm not sure how many of their stats are kind of relevant for 2025 when it is a very, very different team in terms of the personnel compared to what we've seen in the Six Nations. I mentioned the recent history between the sides. 3-2. It's in France's favour for the most recent 5 games. All 3 of those games, though, were, for want of a better word, the French A team over in France, whereas the 2 New Zealand wins were the French B team over here in New Zealand. Yes, back in 2018 when they toured, some of the guys also didn't come down and tour New Zealand. Some of the guys were rested. Some of the guys were injured or otherwise unavailable. So, yes, back in those days, it was the same old story. New Zealand won those ones relatively comfortably. Like the most recent one in Dunedin was 49-14. To the ABs. Predictions-wise, it is the All Blacks predicted to win pretty comfortably. The bookies are saying All Blacks by 21 points. The Rugby Forecast algorithm, which doesn't take personnel into account, is saying New Zealand by 5. That's mostly based on home advantage. It is at Forsyth Bar Stadium down in Dunedin, which has a roof on it, so we should expect pretty good handling, although it will be pretty chilly down there because Dunedin in winter is a pretty cool place. Nick Berry, the Australian, is the ref. It is on at 7:05 local time in the evening over here in NZ. So that'll be a morning rugby and breakfast for you guys over in France. You guys let us know your thoughts on how this one is going to go. How does New Zealand come out of this one looking good? Do they need to win by a bundle? Or do you think the French depth is going to be on display and perhaps give the All Blacks, who can be a bit slow starters in their season, a bit of trouble? If you want All Blacks gear, check out the All Blacks shop down in the description. Got a new jersey out. It kind of looks similar to last year's one, but if you want to pick up the new jersey, use that link down in the description. Tells them 2 cents sent you. But yeah, you guys take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.